Hi there, my name's John Day, talking to you from James Cook University, Queensland, Australia. I'm sorry I can't join you at the summit, but today I want to talk to you about a successful policy reform in the Great Barrier Reef, Australia, and the multiple enabling factors that led to that success. Most of you will know about the zoning of the Great Barrier Reef, but some of you won't be aware of the comprehensive policy process we went through to get that outcome. It was a 5-year policy process that was built upon a whole range of enabling factors. Just quickly to remind you, the Great Barrier Reef is a very large area. It's not the largest of our large-scale MPAs, but it is about the size of many countries, Italy or Japan. The process we went through to develop the zoning plan was quite comprehensive over 5 years. It started off with a recognition that the existing zoning that was in place since the 80s was not protecting the biodiversity. The process involved science at the start, involved in the community in 2 formal phases, a draft plan and a final plan, before the new zoning plan came into effect in 2004. If you want more information, the thesis that's outlined in the bottom right hand corner gives more information about the whole process. There were 4 interrelated factors that contributed to the success of the overall zoning. The first was the sound underpinning of science, but so important was effective public engagement, a lattice of leadership and followership, and the politics of the process. There were also other factors like sound institutional support, passion, trust and luck, but the 4 factors shown in bold were the key factors for the success. So what were some of the lessons about scientific underpinning? Science really did provide a fundamental part of the process, but the outcome was much more than just about science. Politics helps determine the direction to step, but science helps the eyes to focus. In the process we used the best available science, and they improved during the planning. We also used analytical tools like MarkSAM, but I stress they did not provide the answer. If you want more information about this, Chapter 3 in my thesis talks all about the scientific underpinning. So what were some of the lessons about public engagement? Engagement was essential and an integral part of the planning. There was a need to engage all stakeholders and rights holders throughout the entire planning process. We recognised there were differing community issues along the coast, which needed a wide range of communication materials to be developed and then applied. We also recognised that public meetings were largely ineffectual. It was far more effective to engage the community in small, direct engagement sessions. We also learnt it's important not to ignore the stakeholders who choose to remain silent. How we did these things are articulated in the paper set out at the bottom of the page. These 2 maps show the importance of public engagement and the significance of the public submissions received during the 2 phases of public engagement. So you can see between the first map, the draft plan, and the second, the extensive changes that occurred. And again, that was the submissions that led to many of those changes. So what were some of the lessons about leadership? We had a very effective CEO, and that was essential, but no leader within a large-scale marine protected area has all the necessary skills in dealing with the range of issues required. What we had was a cohesive leadership team. This was the key. And so the term lattice leadership was more the reality. There were many leaders woven, and at different times different skills, leadership skills occurred. So leadership occurred at many levels, but all were interacting effectively together. It's important to recognise that leadership occurs at many different scales and places. So there was political leadership, agency leadership, and leadership even within the sectors. Again, for more information, Chapter 4 in the thesis. Some lessons about politics. Many agency staff overlook the critical role of politics when making policy. But as this quote says, policy making of any kind is highly political. It's important when you're talking to politicians to not raise false expectations of a win-win. Compromises are really more likely than win-win outcomes. It's also important to recognise that political priorities, particularly timeframes, are really the same as your MPA priorities. You need to understand about political windows when politicians want things to happen and quickly, so we call those political windows. And it's important to recognise that political leadership was fundamental to get the final approval of the plan. Again, more information in Chapter 6, the thesis. This matrix shows the interrelationship between the 4 key factors and the outcome. Across the top, we have the 4 factors, and down the left-hand side, we can see the level of influence of the same factors on each of the 4 key factors. For example, if we think about politics on the right-hand side here, you can see through the green colour, which indicates a major influence, that science, leadership and public engagement all had a major level of influence on the final political outcome. But in contrast, if we look at what level politics themselves played, politics had little or no influence on the science or on the public engagement, though it did influence the leadership. So it was a complex interaction between all 4 key factors. I haven't got time to run through the rest of the details. If you want more information, please contact me at the email shown below. Thank you.